stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, it's funny in the noon meeting I went to earlier, well, at noon, there was a lady who kept saying, where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Like, that's what my theme song says. It's actually not my theme song. It was made for this show, though. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, the song that you hear was written and performed by my niece, who was 17 years old at the time. And there is a full version of the song. I just don't have a very good recording of it. But it'll make you cry. It'll make you cry. You go, Wah. Oh, scared me, CJ. Ah, good to see you. Yeah, I gotta talk about that meeting a little bit. You know, AA. First off, let's look at tradition 3. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. It does not say that you need to be an alcoholic. You do not get to determine whether somebody is an alcoholic, a problem drinker, a heavy drinker, or has alcoholism. It doesn't work that way. You cannot kick people out of meetings. I don't give a fuck if they're being disruptive. Nope. No, you don't get to kick people out of meetings. But I just hear people, well, if they're not at a certain point, I'm just not going to help them. I'm not going to help them. Oh, scared me again. Did Amber? Did you see what CJ put before you boo, or were you calling me hey boo? Well, hey boo to you too. Hey boo. Welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. I'm having a great fucking day. I am. If you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. You know. So AA is full of a lot of different people. Yeah. I heard one person saying there's a lot of people in A, they're not even really alcoholic. They're just there because they're lonely. No, I'm sorry. But, you know, yeah, I kind of figured, but I wasn't sure. um, you know, you don't get to decide who's an alcoholic. You don't get, addiction and alcoholism is the only mental illness where self-diagnosis is the only diagnosis. But just to hear so much, this is what irritates me, that one of the persons that was saying that, oh, I'll kick them out, while they were literally sitting there fucking hitting on the girls. That is disruptive and it runs people out. So I don't want to have to find another home group, but I'm not going to, I don't tolerate chicanery for very long. I, you know, what are we doing here? And it was probably the most least open-minded and contradictory conversation I've heard from a bunch of AA people in a while. Yeah. All right. It was. I kept my mouth shut. Are you proud of me? Hey, Becky. Good to see you. Oh, I hope no one opened to 3 p.m. Oh, yeah. See? What is going on? I totally forgot about 3 p.m. I had a 2 o'clock phone call, which is kind of what I'm going to be discussing. Um, but yeah, you know, we had a really good meeting last night. I'm satisfied with those meetings, man. They're turning out really well. Um, and all I did was really invite the people that I thought had a good program. That's what I did, you know. So we had a great group conscious. We got a lot of stuff done. So it is not a matter of giving, but when and how to give, right? Hey, Benjamin. Yeah, you had to come somewhere, Ben. I guess somebody didn't open the 3 p.m. So weird, weird. When you're listed in OIAA or on DACA and people go to that meeting and you're not there and there's nobody there, they may not hit a meeting that day and they may go out and drink. When we say that we're going to do something, we have got to fucking follow through on it. We've got to follow through. It can be very demeaning to some people that they're going to a meeting and they really need help and nobody's there. Man, I'll add to loneliness quick. But let's stop bitching. Stop bitching, Dion. Okay. All right. All right. So I just had hey Daryl, good to see you, man. I just had a really good conversation. They're not in AA, so I can say their names. It doesn't matter. But it was just nice to have a conversation with some like-minded people that are doing what I'm doing. And now I get to start finally making connections, right? And it's what I've been waiting on. The detox is moving right along. We should have more information today. I wasn't in the last part of the meeting. They said it's boring and you don't really need to be here. They kind of kicked me out. I'll tell you what it was. They didn't want to pay me 40 an hour to sit there and do nothing, and I don't really blame them. That's just what it was. But we're doing some other groups, and this is where everybody else can start to be involved also and stuff. But I've been talking to a friend, and I'm not sure if he's in the pro, so I'm just gonna call him my friend for now. But I gone out, Shannon and me and another person went out and we did this event for Sobriety House. It was actually for us, but we supported Sobriety House while we were there. Handed out we gave out bubbles. Do I have my bubbles? Where are my bubbles? Where are my bubbles? I haven't seen them in weeks. And I made this connection, and as a lot of you know, there's been a lot of things wrong in Colorado, and now I have a very fairly sized group of people who are no longer willing to tolerate the bullshit, the fraud, the body brokering, and the power has switched hands now. It's now in our hands. And why is that? Well, because all the money's gone. They spent all the money. And we knew that. I knew that was going to happen, right? But so I got a new resource that has sober livings. They have an apartment home. They have IOP. They have outpatient. They have inpatient. In order to be a peer coach there, you need to at least have 2 years of sobriety and 500 EDUs first before you are considered for a job there. But they treat their people very, very well. Okay. And these are some of the best of the best. The guy running it, his name's Bryce Givens. And I'm going to say, when I looked through his stuff, I thought he was just another guy, and that I wasn't. Yeah, there's a vetting process that I'm going to have to change. But what's nice is now, instead of everybody in the industry being guilty until proven innocent, I don't have to do that anymore. And those days are over. Education something units. I don't know. It's the amount of units you need before you qualify for, like you would for an associate's, bachelor's, things like that. I think they're called EDUs. They might be called something else. And if they are, please feel free to correct me on it. It might be EDCs or ECUs, education certificate units. I don't know. I'm making shit up. I know the first one is education. That I do know. That I'm 100% on, right? But now we're not so limited in our resources. And what I can do is now I can support a company that I know is going to do it the right way so we can get these other things done. Now the Hayworth house is possible. Now it's possible because I probably don't even need to open it, but they even have an apartment complex. Um, and and just like anything else, I mean, there's a lot I want to say on it, but really in all of its stuff is extremely simple. You know, we're going to meet people where they are at, and then we're going to supply the right resources. See, Ned, but that's hard to do when there aren't any resources. So I had to go out and create and get resources. And that has happened now. Now that part's done. Okay. And I've moved into a position where I am now, people are just calling me a liaison. And so my job is to make connections with these other people because I've built trust. I had to go back these last 2, 3 years and rebuild trust with counties and therapists and Aurora Mental Health. And I went after these bigger ones. I now have 2 detoxes and a mental health corporation and a county that is on board and doing what we would like to do. I'll give you an example of like the detox. Okay. Now the detox, when you walk in, I was talking to my wife about this and I said, remember you would just kind of drop me off. And when I went back, you know, you sat with me. And then when I went back, you left and came pick me up when it was time, right? She's like, yeah. So, well, in this detox, what would happen is I would go in and then somebody else would approach you and say, hey, we don't just help them, we want to help you too. And we have resources for you. Would you like to sit down and talk? Yeah. Hey, Michelle, it's good to see you. It's good to see all my friends here, man. Everybody's jumping on. It's because the 3 o'clock wasn't open. I guess this was the 3 o'clocker today. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you. I figured if anybody was going to figure that out for me, it was going to be you. I'm like, he's just going to ask his wife, and she probably knows, right? Need to talk to somebody that's a little bit younger, that's been closer to going to school than me. I've never gained an EDU in my life. Yeah, I have. I'm just fucking around. But, you know, and everybody's understanding that this is a family disease and that everybody needs to be taken care of. The place that I'm bringing they're called Elevate and All the Way Well, right? But it encompasses the family also. So we've 2 detoxes, the one coming in the way. The next one that is going to be joining us will be Denver Cares. Denver Cares will be next. Okay. Notice I have not said much about treatment yet. I will be getting to treatment. Treatment after I work with Denver Cares, then I'll be going after inpatient treatment because and I may have said it wrong earlier, All the Way Well, actually they have another parent company that does that part. I believe it's either intensive outpatient or just outpatient. They don't have an inpatient yet. But what they're going to do is they're also putting together a community resource center, kind of like the one that I've talked about, where if you're part of it and you need gas and you go there and we'll give you a fucking gas card. We don't ask questions. We don't do that stuff. We are here to help. Okay. And we understand that, you know, the other thing that we very much agreed on was we have got to help the community. It is all about the community. And if we are not helping the community, and there was one thing that he really said, He said, when we opened the Northland house, we found a house and then we went and talked to all the neighbors. I'm like, that's exactly what I would do. That was my idea too, right? That you go talk to the neighbors, say, we're moving in here. We don't want you to be scared of us. We want you to know that we're here to help. We do not want to make your life harder. We want to make it better. So, what can we do? What can we do to help you feel more comfortable? Or, or maybe is there somebody around here that needs some help? Maybe there's some elderly, okay, well, we'll go over there, cut their grass once a week. Okay. And the houses are supposed to be about going out into the community and making the community safe again. That is part of our job and what it is that we do. Right. So when I heard him say that, I'm like, I got my guy. I got my guy. Okay. And for the first time in close to 4 years, I'm fucking excited that we hit it. It finally happened. My wife and I both said the same thing. About fucking time. Yeah. Of course, we say it with humility and grace, knowing it's God's time. Right. But now I get to do all the things that I've been wanting to do. Right. And that includes the podcasting. It includes the lives. It includes trudging together. It includes the houses, the AA meetings for sure. I told you they're going to get big because now that they trust me, they're going to say, "Oh, you need AA meetings? Okay, you go to Grassroots. That's where we want you to go. That's a great place to go. That's what we would recommend." And see, and since I know their intentions over there, then I can make sure that what I'm doing over here fits their model to help out to do these things. Right? And what is that? Well, that's an esteemable act, doing something for somebody else without them knowing. Right? 12th step work. Okay. 12th step work isn't just going to be going to the detox. No. How about ride alongs with police officers? Yeah. I know a bunch of you that would love to do that. Okay. See, I only hated cops when I was doing something wrong. It's the only time I didn't like police officers. Okay. Otherwise, the police have been great to me. They've always been, not always. Of course, I've met some, but being able to go to the sober livings and do a 12th step call maybe, or even the people in the sober livings. Now the sober livings can be a part of. But see, a lot of this had to go in a row because if I don't have East Metro Detox, if I don't have Denver Cares and the new detox in Adams County and Aurora Mental Health calling the AA hotline, then therefore it's all null. That seems to be my new thing. Thanks, Leisure. Leisure started calling me that. Absolutely, Daryl. Yeah. Yeah. And so instead of trudging, it'd be trudging. It just sounds like I have a speech impediment. Trudging. I may go with that too. Who are you? Well, I'm the Trudge King. It doesn't really fit, but it does go along with trudging together, raw recovery, things like that. But yeah, see, we are a people who kind of fit everywhere. We do, and getting the community to understand and trust. Okay, that was one thing. It was blown. Okay, because I don't know what happened. All I can figure out is a bunch of people in AA got lazy and decided to let people just go ahead and take shit, including people that come to AA. Okay, and what happened is these recovery coaches came along and said, "Oh, we'll hold these meetings and stuff for you," but they had no ethics, and they blew the reputation. So I've been going back for the last 2 or 3 years, reestablishing these relationships. And it's like, yeah, I know they're doing that over there, but I'm not them. So just give me a chance. Give me a chance. Let me show you what I can do, right? And since I'm not taking any money, they don't have to worry about that. Now they know, hey, man, this guy's got some integrity. he actually gives a fuck. And that's all he cares about. And people know that about me. It was nice. I was at the Adams County meeting earlier, and I went to talk to, I think her name's Christine, but she worked at Denver Cares forever. She's the one that's going to hook me up with Denver Cares and get them to kind of do what we're doing. And I went up and I'm like, hey, Christine, I'm Dion. And she goes, oh, I've heard about you. Oh, yeah, I know who you are. That felt so good. It felt really good. Not in a pride ego way. I mean, it could have gone to my head. Maybe I'll let it go to my head a little. There we go. I'm done. Hey. And she said, Emma has said some great things about you. Everybody says great things about you. I'm like, oh man. I finally feel like I belong in what I'm doing. It is a sigh of relief. And I, I'm not necessarily excited as much as I am extremely grateful that I get to do this, that I get to do it. And that I know that a lot of my friends are going to join along and you know, helping people understand that I know you may have seen some bad AA meetings, but that's not how we do it. And them trusting me to come to a meeting or come back to a meeting to be like, yeah, this is how we do it, man. This is how it's done. And then not having to take clout or credit for it because it's not needed. And it's become beautiful. It's become beautiful. You know what comes next now? Yeah, they want to pay me. In this part, they should. Right? When I do the AA stuff, and you know I won't take any money, but being a liaison and you know, because we all had to introduce ourselves, and everybody's like, "I'm a director. I'm an executive director. I'm the assistant to the executive director." I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm a recovery advocate. But you know what? It didn't make a difference. It didn't make a difference. Um, a lot of people told me, Dion, we're so glad you're here. You know, um, but the neat thing is, I've been waiting for this to wait on this to wait on that, and all the waiting is over now. Now we're just waiting on opening the detox. And when that happens, the whole landscape's going to change. It's all going to change. And we can get back to the AA that we know and love, to the recovery that we know and love, and we can work on healing communities. So, um, and you thought I was going to read from the big book, huh? But this fits exactly where it's at in the big book. See, I've been doing this a long time. I've educated myself. I've done a lot of my own personal work. And now all that work is added up to where we're at now. You know, um, it was neat that I got to be able to, because people were flipping out that there was no money this year. They're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I got to approach all these people and say, it's okay. It's okay. Actually, this is a blessing. It's a blessing. And like, how can it be a blessing? I'm like, because we don't need money. What do we need money for? Well, we need to, no, you don't. That's all the stuff that spent the money. We don't need that. Right. And where some people were being led down a wrong road are now like, oh my God, this is the wrong road. We better. So over, if you're in Colorado meetings, you're going to probably see a flux of people come into the rooms. You're probably going to start seeing more people in Colorado and come to the rooms. Then what's going to happen? Well, then those things are going to have to tighten up. They're going to have to become better. because it's the other thing that's kind of going on in Colorado is the AA meetings. Well, they're fucking weak. They are. You know, I know some of these meetings, I can't believe some of the things I'm hearing coming out of people's mouths. I'm like, there's a lot of things that we don't talk about. It is very, very clear that most of people don't even understand the traditions, but yet they're sitting there making decisions in a group conscience. You know, I was in a meeting earlier, and when we got out of the meeting, people were literally saying that AA is full of people that don't belong in AA. I'm like, how do we even get to make that judgment? I didn't say anything because if I opened my mouth at that time, I probably would have yelled and screamed, and that would have been bad in that situation. It was not for me to try and change other people's minds, but it did give me an idea of what people are thinking. It is, you know, um, to say that somebody else doesn't belong in AA because they're not a true alcoholic. No, we help anybody that walks through the doors. Somebody was saying, "Oh, there's a lot of people in AA that come here just because they're lonely," and that's bullshit too. Because otherwise, they wouldn't have their cameras off saying nothing. So no, you know, and that's pretty much making shit up. Okay, these mutual admiration societies. You know, the one guy that needs to double dip at the end of every meeting now that everybody's talked so he can give his overview. No, it cannot go on like that. Saying that we have a right to kick people out of an AA meeting. No, we don't. I understand disruptiveness. I understand that people are doing stupid shit. But while these people, the same person that was saying that, just got done saying how every girl in the room is in love with them. You know, oh, but it's just a joke. Okay. That's called gaslighting. That's called, oh, it's just a joke. No, he fucking mean. No, he hopes. He hopes. And what is that? Well, he's just trying to get attention from the girls. It's emotional sobriety, you know. But I do hear a lot of things going on in AA meetings that, you know, I there are some things that are just that are against the traditions, and then there are some things that I would consider wrong, right? Which would be an opinion, right? Let's say you got a guy comes into a meeting and he's hitting on the girls. Okay. Do we kick that person out? No, we do not. But what we can do is pull them aside and have a stern talk with them. Hey man, you keep up that behavior here, and we might ask you to leave. Okay. Now, what are you here for? Why are you here? Well, you know what? Maybe that person there is because of a nudge from the judge. And they're not looking to get sober. They just want their slip chain signed. And in the meantime, they're trying to pick up on the women, right? Yeah, you can call them on a shit. That's it. That's what we do. You are welcome back. But I'm going to tell you right now, we're keeping an eye on you, man. And you push it too far, we may not kick you out. But I tell you now, somebody will put you in a headlock and teach you a lesson. Right? I mean, when I got angry, I was a violent person. I've seen plenty of violence in meetings, and it can be scary. It can be scary. Okay? But I believe that people can change. I believe that people can change. You know, and maybe they went to another meeting and saw an old timer doing that, so they figured they could get away with it too. You know, so even while we're doing that, the question is, okay, we're going to kick that person out. Are we being the best example as a group? When when it's the parking lot meeting, are we asking the newcomers in Zoom? Are we asking any of the newcomers there if they have any more questions? Are we asking if somebody needs a sponsor? Or are we moving on to whatever we want to talk about? Well, I got to go to the doctor's office tomorrow. You should see what it is, blah, 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 and then take up 5 minutes. Okay. You know, in those parking lot meeting on Zoom, you should only talk about 30 seconds and then let the next person talk. Okay. But we cannot dominate them either. Okay. When I ran the meeting last night, I noticed something. I wasn't talking I wasn't really saying anything in between every person. I don't think it was wrong, but I would start saying, and then I would stop because I shouldn't say any more than I shouldn't say anything more than that was a great share and I relate. Okay. As a chairperson, I do not get to comment on everybody's share after they've done it. That makes people uncomfortable, and I wouldn't want somebody to do it to me or contort it to what they think it is. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Daryl. And we are very protective. And we will say something. We're going to do it nice the first time. And next time, no, we're not going to be so nice. Uh-uh. Okay. There's been people that, you bet there has. So, all right. Let's just go ahead and read out of the big book where I got it. Let's do that. Because not everything can be about what I want to talk about. It doesn't work that way. For the type of alcoholic who is able and willing to get well, little charity in the ordinary sense of the word is needed or wanted. Yet, when I was talking to Bryce about the apartment home, he said, you know what? A lot of people gave me flack for that, but they are thriving. I can tell you now that they were probably homeless. When you give people a certain way and you do things right, they will respect that thing to their dying day. I bet the grounds are clean. I bet everything's picked up. I bet everybody eats. Everybody, they take care of each other. It's a community, and it's beautiful, is what it is. The men who cry for money and shelter before conquering alcohol are on the wrong track. Yet, we do go to great extremes to provide each other these very things when such action is warranted. This may seem inconsistent, but we think it is not. Okay? Um, so, I know plenty of people in this world that got sober while in prison, while in jail, while living on Skid Row or homeless, that got sober and recovered while living on the streets. Yes, it is possible. Absolutely, it is. But I do know that if I have a person that is willing and able, and I can put a roof over their head, their odds go way up. Their chances go way up because now they can focus on going to intensive outpatient. They can get to more meetings. They have a place to meet with their sponsor. They know where they're going to lay their head at night. They know that they're going to be able to eat when they want to. These are all freedoms that will apply to good sobriety, man. Yes. You know. Oh, one thing I brought up when I was talking to him, I said, I can even help you get jobs, including the people that are felons. And he goes, oh, that'd be a great help. I'm like, yeah, we can do that. Absolutely. Yeah. And that was just another relationship. I met her when we went to go do the Pride Parade, right? And the she's the acquisition is what it's called. Okay. But turned out she's an Al-Anon. Yeah. Right. We're involved with the homeless part over there. Rouhani already loves us. Okay. They do the homeless. They have a little thing that they're put. Okay. Anyway. So if I can provide these things, right? Here's $100. Go get your own food, my own food. I get to decide what I want. And I was talking to this guy. I said, it's beyond that. I got so many people out here that want to do service work. We can teach them how to cook. We can teach them how to sew, go grocery shopping, write a resume, building, painting, anything. I'm wearing the purple shirt today. A parent just asked me what it was. Aw, people like those shirts, man. May I have to pay my bill so I can get some more. I owe 400. I owe her $400. And she's like, I know you'll get it to me when you can, but I don't want to order more until I pay it off and then have money to for more shirts. Um, maybe I should have charged for the ones I gave away. All right. So here it is. It is not a matter of giving that is a question, but when and how to give. That often makes the difference between failure and success. Now, how am I going to know how and when to give if I don't sit down with this person and ask them some questions? How much to pay it off? $400. I've gotten like 20 shirts, if that's what you're asking. So, pretty soon here, money will start coming in. So, but that often makes a difference between failure and success. So if I don't sit down and ask this person a few questions like what's your name? What kind of work do you do? How'd you grow up? You got brothers and sisters? You got a wife? You got kids? Find out who's closest to them and use that pain. Because I found when an alcoholic realized the biggest denial an alcoholic is this. Well, here's their two biggest denials. One, they're not hurting anybody. And two, I'm hiding it so well people don't know I'm drinking. Those are the two big ones. Okay. So when an alcoholic realizes that they are hurting their mother like they are, I was just watching this thing on Instagram and it's a couple talking about him getting sober and he said it was a band-aid, which I didn't quite get, but he said it was a band-aid to you. And they said something else and she broke down crying. She said, I don't know why it hit me so hard. I know why, because she never went to Al-Anon. She never went to therapy to take care of her own trauma. It's unhealed trauma on camera. That's going to serve no purpose. I have no shirts for sale right now, unless you want a used one. So I'll have to get more made up first before I can, but I do not have any shirts for sale right now. I gave my last one to Pastor Marcia. So the minute we put our work on a service plane, the alcoholic commences to rely upon our assistance rather than upon God. Can't have the alcoholic dependent on me, right? So here's it. We call it skin in the game. It's what we call it. Okay, so when I was in the Phoenix concept, what we did is we made piggy banks and plaques, right, for donation. People would donate them, buy them, purchase them, however you want to put it, and that's how we paid our rent. Well, it wasn't that I made this plaque and it goes up there because there were steps to it. One guy cut the wood. One people would put the engravings on. One guy would sand it. Another one would burn it a little bit. Another one put painting. So see, it was a culmination of everybody. But if I was not in that process, I wasn't allowed to live there. To excel, I might. I might. I might have one, but I don't know that it's a 2XL. I'll have to look, but I will look for you. So the alcoholic cannot rely upon us. Their real reliance has got to be upon God, just like us. Okay. But we also can't be the kind of people where it's my way or the highway, because then that makes them dependent on us. I've noticed that there's some people out there that love it when people depend on them. They want the control. Anyway, we're not we already did the bitching part. Hi Ingrid, good to see you. Love you. He clamors for this or that, claiming he cannot master alcohol until his material needs are cared for. Nonsense. Some of us have taken very hard knocks to learn this truth. Job or no job, wife or no wife, we simply do not stop drinking so long as we place dependence upon other people ahead of dependence on God. Burn the idea into the consciousness of every man that he can get well regardless of anyone. The only condition is that he trusts in God and clean house. Let's go to 164 and we'll end. Still, you may say, but I will not have the benefit of contact with you who write this book. Yes, you do. You do. It's the fourth step. Yep, it's the fourth step. You have contact with them. Sure you do. Maybe not direct contact, but AA is 90 years old, so that means you're only a grand sponsor away from one of the original 100. You're not, it's not as far as it seems. We cannot be sure. God will determine that. So you must remember that your real reliance is always upon Him. He will show you how to create the fellowship you crave. That's going to be different for everyone. It is, right? Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We know why. We know why. It's the same kind of suggestion that if you jump out of an airplane, you should probably pull the cord on your parachute. I would suggest you pull that cord at about 1,000 feet, right? That's how you have to tell an alcoholic. But if you tell an alcoholic, you better pull that fucking cord at 1,000 feet, well, that man's dead. That's purely a joke. I'm just showing how defiant we alcoholics are. We realize we know only a little. We still really don't know that much. And what we do know hasn't really changed. I think this is kind of a personal thing. Um, Exercise is a great way to stay sober, and all these. There's a lot of things that aren't in here that are great ways to keep yourself busy, right? Like Legos or art, crocheting, these different things. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask Him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who's still sick. Okay, not just the third step prayer. God's will, not your will, not mine, be done. Right, but God, what do you need me to do today to help one of your children? And then I've got to keep an open mind. Right now, there's oh my pop pulling it at 500. It's splat. So there's a qualification here. The answers will come if your own house is in order. Right? Or we talked about two-stepping yesterday. Right? Means that your own house needs to be in order. It means your side of the street needs to be clean. Just like when your parents said, you can go out and play once your room is clean. It's a responsibility. And it's a very big responsibility. Okay? Because otherwise you'll go on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook and at a week sober and show people how great your life is. Okay. I don't know why people are doing that so short in sobriety. You don't need to be the poster child for detox. We don't need that. Okay. And all the frothy emotional appeal will not keep that person sober. No matter how many people say, oh, great job, and things like this, until there's a conscious contact with God, that sobriety is vicarious. It's close to not being sobriety anymore, right? The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously, you cannot transmit something you haven't got. That includes recovery. That is why I am big that if you're going to be a recovery coach, if you're going to be a peer support specialist, that you have 1 to 2 years of sobriety first, because that means he did the work. It means your own house is in order. And now you can certainly transmit what you have, but you can't transmit something you do not have. And that includes spirituality, right? See to it that your relationship is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. That is happening to me right now. Great events are coming to pass, not just for me, right? But because of the moves that we have been doing, because it isn't just me, we're going to help hundreds of thousands of alcoholics. Yes, we are. And we're fucking excited about it too. It's an alleviation to meet people like yourself when you have a passion like this. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to Him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet King Trudge. I tried to fit it in there, but it didn't work. And you will surely meet some of us as you trudge, King, the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then. All right. All right. Well, I gotta go dig out the luggage because my wife's leaving for a week. She needs to pack, and they want to leave tonight, so I'm gonna help her out and get her stuff. Yeah. I did her doing her laundry today too, so that all of her clothes are clean and she can pick what she wants. And yeah, I'm a nice husband. I'm actually a really good husband. But don't tell my wife. She knows. She knows. I was giving her crap. I'm like, sometimes your codependency just gets in the way. Like a couple weeks ago, I was trying to make dinner, and she's like, "Oh," she just kept jumping in. I'm like, I was trying to do something nice for her because I knew she had a bad day. I knew she'd want to come home and cook dinner. So I'm like, I'll take care of it. And I was halfway done when she got home, and you know, but she's usually the one that makes dinner. So it probably has to do with that. But hey, we're all learning, right? Oh, thank you, Michelle. I'm really glad that you're enjoying that meeting. I'm really enjoying it too. It's turning out well. It's turning out well. We all know who we can thank for that. Guy upstairs, man. Guy upstairs, right? See, when you hear the best example that you can be, that's what you will attract. You attract what you are. Yep. All right. I didn't know I was going to go for 48 minutes, but I never know how long it's going to be. But I'm glad a lot of people got here because the 3 o'clock meeting wasn't open. That it scares me. It scares me that meeting used to go 7 days a week, and this is not a brag. Okay. It was going 7 days a week. But I got tired of going and having to do everything when I got there because the person didn't show up or this person wanted to do that. Da, 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 da. And I used to run the Mondays for I think I did for about 9 months. And on Mondays we would have 70 people there. I don't know what it is, but when it comes to chairing meetings, I just seem to have a knack for it. But and then I finally told him, I said, I'm not doing any more work. You guys have got to start picking up yourself. And then they cut it by 4 days. That was the answer. There's no way I was doing 4 days of work. There's no way. But that's what it felt like when it happened. And it was a newcomer meeting too. But a lot of people did, Corona ended or the coronavirus ended and everybody went. And it's like, well, we're going to go back to our in-person meeting. I'm like, what about the commitment? The commitment. Yeah, 3 p.m. York Street, Newcomer. How it works. I guess it wasn't opened today. I took myself out of the chat, so I have no idea what's going on. So, I mean, it can't be that confusing. It's only 3 days. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you haven't seen it yet, please go check out the new website. It is trudgingtogether.org. It's basic, but it's a lot prettier. And if you see anything that needs any changes or you have suggestions, oh, you know what? I'm just going to show it off over here. Here we are. All right. So here's the home page, right? And stories by alcoholics for alcoholics, right? And I just put a little things here. Chat, I do not. So like, listen to this. Sharing our stories requires vulnerability, which is a crucial aspect of healing. When we open up about our struggles, we create a space for healing to begin. This vulnerability can lead to greater self awareness, personal growth, and ultimately recovery. I do not write like that. That is Chat GPT. All right. And then here you can go find the stories. This is the Daily Trudge, which we're doing right now. And I need to redo this, but this is for the resources. And I want people to know that our resources can be trusted. And of course, if you'd like to tell your story, oh, yeah, email me. Yeah, that's off. And then here's raw recovery. I need to redo this part. I don't like this setup. What I had to do was go back and add, and there's another way to do it. But it has the traditions on there, the 12 by 12 step series, big book thumping, and then the personal stories. So yeah, that's about it. But it's a lot prettier now. So, all right. Thanks for letting me show off my webpage real quick. I appreciate it. But it would help if you go, so that way I get some site visitors and the SEO starts to pick up. And pretty soon here, you'll be able to subscribe. Right. So, right on. Thank you, everybody. I love you. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.